joined me today. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, soft and fluffy sandwich loaf using the Tangzhong method. This is a Japanese method where you make kind of a thickened paste with milk and flour. So in a pot on the stove at medium heat, you're going to heat 1 cup of milk and 6 tablespoons of flour. Whisk it together until it forms a thick paste. And then you're going to put that in the fridge for 20 minutes while you make the rest of your bread. So in this Pyrex, you've got 1 1/3 cups of whole milk that's warm. Dissolve 1/4 cup of sugar in there and then add 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast and give it a stir. You'll set this aside for 10 minutes. Once your yeast is bloomed, you can add your Tangzhong mixture and then your yeast mixture to your bowl. And you're also going to add 2 large eggs at room temperature and 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter and 2 teaspoons of fine salt. And then you'll mix that up with the dough hook. It's okay if the butter doesn't completely incorporate while you're mixing with the dough hook. Once we add the flour, that will take care of that problem and the butter will knead in easily. I just mix it on low just to incorporate everything together. I'm using a KitchenAid mixer with the dough hook. It works well for me. Go ahead and add your 6 cups of flour. I like to weigh my flour. 6 cups is 720 grams, and all-purpose flour works great in this recipe. So mix that starting on low. As you can see, it's starting to incorporate everything together. And once you've got everything incorporated and it's kind of cleared the bowl sides, set a timer for 12 minutes and let your mixer do your kneading for you. The kneading helps the elasticity of the bread and makes for a really soft loaf. This dough is really easy to work with, and it's a very forgiving dough. So you're going to put this dough in a greased bowl that has enough room for it to double. So I've got my metal bowl here that I've sprayed with some oil, and I'm going to put my bread dough in the bowl. And then I like to kind of form it into a little mound and then flip it over. And then go ahead and cover that with saran wrap. And it's going to rise for 45 minutes to an hour until it's doubled. I like to preheat my oven to 100 degrees and then turn it off. And that's where I put my dough to rise. Here's my risen dough, punch it down. And I have a silicone mat that I like to form my loaves on. So just kind of plop the dough out onto your mat. This makes 2 loaves, so you're going to want to separate them. I like to use a kitchen scale for this. So I cut my bread dough in half. I kind of eyeball it. And I get lucky here, and I just have a gram difference between my sides. I've been doing this enough that I can eyeball it pretty well. Then you're going to kind of flatten out your dough with your fingers into a rectangle, and you'll form your loaf. This is how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. You really can just shape it into a rectangle, but this is how I form my loaves. And now roll it together. You're going to go ahead and pinch the ends. Like I said, though, this is a really forgiving bread dough, so you could just form it into an easy rectangle and plop it in your greased loaf pans. I love these loaf pans here. I'll put the link below in the description for these loaf pans. They are my favorite loaf pans. The loaves just fall out of them and they clean super easy. So I'm forming the second loaf the same way, big rectangle, fold in the ends, and then roll it up. My boys love this bread for sandwiches. It's great for French toast. We love it with eggs and toast in the morning. It's great with butter and jelly. So here we're pinching the bottom together again. Here we go. Once that's done, you'll place both loaves in your greased pans and you'll let them rise again until doubled. And I like my loaves to be coming up over the rim of the pan by about an inch. And for me, that took about 30 minutes in my kitchen. That was about 70 to 75 degrees. So I like to cover that with a tea towel. And here I show not quite risen as much as I'd like. One kind of rose higher than the other. And here, this is perfect. And that goes in the oven and bakes at 350 for 25 minutes. Once they've sat on the counter for 1 to 2 minutes, you're going to turn them out and let the remainder of the cooling happen on a wire rack. These are just a delicious loaf. They're so soft. Perfect for grilled cheese and tomato soup. Really perfect for any kind of sandwich. Make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube page for more great recipes and follow along as we progress on our farm with our pigs and chickens and cows. Look how beautiful this bread is. It's got such a nice, soft, moist crumb. Thanks so much for watching.